Oh, the baby is so cute. Oh, thank you. What's his name? Theodosian Code. Oh, okay. Well, is it a boy or a girl? Well, it's a boy. You know, it has his man parts. But, you know, he may decide he wants to be a girl. My little princess. He's so cute. He's so cute. I'm confused. Child, I am too.
Wait, what? Decided he wants to be a girl. Nobody decides they want to be a girl or a boy. They turn out to either be a boy or a girl or third category. Their physical anatomy is irrelevant by all accounts, save for hazarding a probability-based guess upon which they will be, as sex and gender often do correlate, yet not always, and thus for the start of a child's life may be used to suggest a gender. Also, do not forget that even sex is not XY and XX binary, as other groups such as XXY, XXXY, and XYY and XO, and countless other genetic variants exist. Even with XY and XX we have some issues. For example, there are individuals with XY chromosomes whose cells are completely incapable of utilizing the testosterone they produce, and thus they develop the outwardly appearance of a cis woman. Cis, by the way, denotes a person who aligns with their birth-assigned gender, as opposed to a differing one. So your ignorance on the topic really shows here. Thing is that once a person reveals their gender identity to you, you do not have the right to dehumanize them and deny them their basic right to identity and the assertion of said identity. The fact that it confuses you in your disturbing fictional scenario when you have the internet as your resource does nothing but display your unwillingness to understand. Also, what on earth is a poor attempt at satire targeted at the trans community doing slapped on at the beginning of a video titled The Homosexuality Agenda? Gender and sexuality are not one and the same. Gender is who you are, sexuality is who you are with. Do forgive me though as I decide to skip your intro.
Are you awake yet? Because if you didn't know it by now, the media, yeah, I said it, want to control how we think. And I'm not having it. For instance, black males are violent, probably have a criminal record, they ain't going to college, and all they want is your purse. Sound familiar? Have you taken a second to even think about why homosexuality is being displayed everywhere in the media? It seems a little forced, premedicated, planned. Look, this is in no way an attack on the LGBT community. It's a call for everyone to open your eyes. The truth is, the media wants to control the way that we think. For example, oh, sex sells? Well, how about we use the voluptuous black woman and exploit her as a sex object in music videos and movies and TV shows? Yeah, let's make them that sexy best friend or that one in the music video with all her clothes off. Oh, wait, that's already happening. Have you heard of Brian Cansata? Listen to this. Dear American Idol casting directors, I have received many phone calls and emails begging me to try out in front of the executive producers of the show in the past couple months. I'm not interested. Last year, I was interested, and I tried out, but you didn't want me. I wasn't contemporary enough, and being transgender wasn't such a hot issue in the media like it is now. He goes on in another interview that I've linked below and says, I was contacted again in June after Caitlyn Jenner was in the media, and the first thing they said to me is, we want a transgender person on this show. They don't want a singer and transgender. They want someone that's transgender and a singer. And that's not the right reason to go on the show. Ryan was bold enough to say no, but there are countless of artists and actors and singers and directors and writers who are being pressured and are saying yes.
What? I mean, sorry, but there are two completely separate arguments here which you are attempting to blur into one. The first is that the media, which by definition is the primary means of mass communication, is attempting to form our decisions. Now, who would have thought that? Communication, a skill designed to distribute information, still has that goal when given in mass. That does not then mean the quality of the messages or moral implications of said messages are bad. You know who also uses mass media? Doctors Without Borders, Amnesty International, and nearly every major cancer charity in existence. These people are trying to change how you think and make you more altruistic in giving them more money and raising awareness of their existence. Does that put them on par with the other industries that objectify black women? Then we have the case of Ryan Casata, which you have wheeled out as your dog and pony show, doing to them exactly what American Idol wanted to do, which was the very reason they did not desire to participate. You put the focus of the story not on the fact that they didn't desire to participate in the show because the only reason they were invited back were reasons secondary to their singing talent, but because they are a trans person turning down an offer to be on TV, and a trans person turning down an offer to be on TV is a good thing. A competition is not the same as movie or drama diversity. If the story had been that Ryan was denied the spot purely for being trans, regardless of their talent, it would be a different story. But they, as a human being, did not want their gender identity wheeled out as a sole reason for them going on to the next round. The pressure and objectification aspect is wrong, not LGBT plus people being on TV. That is why it is important to increase the number of script writers and show directors who are trans individuals, or are homosexual, or are black individuals, because by empowering them at the writing stage, you therefore empower them on television and remove the abilities of the white, cis, heterosexual individual to objectify them and use them as a little trick, a monkey that dances around out on the show to make people go, oh, look at how diverse we are. So yes, you are doing pretty much the same thing, focusing on a singular aspect of their identity and ignoring the rest of the factors involved. So do you see how those two arguments are different?
Truly, if the message was think for yourself, then we would see an equal amount of shows that highlight kids, teens, families to remain abstinent, or who are normalizing the idea of being a virgin and having a healthy marriage. Now that is thinking for yourself. That is giving them an option.
Have you turned on the TV at all recently? The sanctity of virginity is still a big thing, and promiscuity often leads to the downfall of whichever character partakes in it. This was a trope highlighted via satire in the film Cabin in the Woods, where the virgin always dies last in a horror film, or is sometimes even the only person to survive. So once more, your ignorance shows itself. But what I get from this and the general topic is that you are suggesting that LGBT plus individuals make up a disproportionately large number of fictional characters in media, which is absolute rubbish. Media to this day remains cis and heteronormative in its demographics, just like it remains whitewashed. Therefore, you are actually complaining about trans and non-heterosexual story arcs just starting to appear in the media. Ergo, via acknowledging this fact, your own argument backfires as you are the one demanding that variety be stamped out of media. This is akin to a white conservative claiming that if media was really fair, there'd be equal representation for white protagonists in film. How dare there not be in current society? That's just blind to the reality of the media landscape. In American TV, LGBT plus representation in scripted television actually dropped after 2012 and still hasn't recovered to that year. At the moment, it stands at 3.9% in 2014. As for the prevalence of LGBT plus individuals in society? Well, as much as 12% of millennials identify as something other than cisgender heterosexual. This, of course, differs in older generations due to the generational effect. But honestly, what are you on about? You are complaining about a minority just starting to get more media attention because apparently they have assimilated everything. You just don't make any sense at all in your arguments, and you are in complete denial of the privilege extended to you in being cisgender and heterosexual. I doubt you'd like me to turn the tables on you based on ethnicity.
Look, I need a greater source of truth than TMZ, Beyonce, or my friends. I'm tired of the forced truth the world wants me to believe. I need that truth that sets people free. God says that you are a new creation, transformed, wonderfully made, the light of the world, set free from the bondage of sin, forgiven, renewed. That is who you are.
So on one hand, you attack mass media for supposedly brainwashing people, when I would argue that on LGBT plus matters it lacks the capability or desire to do so. And yet, on the other hand, you will go on to quote a single source of mass media, i.e. the Bible, that openly admits it's attempting to assimilate everyone and control them. Which, by the way, the authors of the Bible are highly questionable. Many of the passages have been added in later, and some of the authors are quite simply lying about who they are, so really it's not a trustworthy source in any sense, and it is just another source of mass media. I just don't understand how you cannot spot your own hypocrisy. LGBT plus individuals are not trying to turn you gay, and they do not exist purely because of the media. That's Christianity you are thinking of. Straight people were producing LGBT plus children long before any form of mass media was invented, and yes, it includes the printing press. We have been here since the dawn of humanity. So to sum up, so far, I am waiting for an actual argument that isn't entirely based in a complete denial of reality, and from the way things are going, I doubt I am going to receive such a thing. Yet, you never know. So with my frustration towards your double standard noted, let us continue.
Listen, be bold to speak the truth of God. Don't you dare let the opinions or the desires or the choice of somebody in your circle, your friends, to make you waver from what you were created to be. You were created to be a man. You were created for marriage, to love God. You weren't created to be confused about your gender. You were created to feel trapped in your body. Who are you going to believe? The media, who clearly has an agenda to push a specific calculated message, or the book of God that says truth to set you free? There is freedom in the name of Jesus Christ.
You are a master of projection. Your religion is a choice, and your bigotry stemmed from that as a choice, as you have chosen to remain ignorant to the reality, which is that LGBT plus individuals have existed since the dawning of humankind. A person does not choose their gender or their sexuality, as is demonstrated by the fact that any attempt to change said things will lead to suicide. People like you are why around 50% of trans individuals under the age of 26 have attempted suicide, which, by the way, is something I bring up here as your tirade predominantly seems to be targeted at the trans community. Your idea of proclaimed freedom are the very shackles that destroy human lives. These people are living as who they are, and you spit on them just because they don't fit your outdated narrative on what it means to be a human being. Marriage predates Christianity, by the way, and in Europe was changed to exclude same-sex marriage variants during the Christianization of the Roman Empire during the 4th century on pain of death. Christians redefined marriage, not us.
You just finished watching this video and I dare you to be bold enough to share it. We gotta raise up our children with confidence in Jesus Christ. Share it, like it, love it, and remember, do not conform.
So we're going to end with a member of the largest cult globally telling others to follow said cult, yet at the same time telling them not to conform. Which is it? Do we conform to your cult, or do we actually apply critical thinking skills and realize it for the con it actually is? Oh, and by the way, gay parents raise children equally as well as heterosexual parents and may actually raise more confident children, as some researchers have suggested. So your attempts of, won't somebody please think of the children, backfires as your arguments appear to have done throughout this video. But yeah, I'll share your video once I've rendered it completely asunder. Your bile is so poorly disguised as compassion that I'm not even going to hide my disdain for you. At least the previous Christian I dealt with had the decency to feign concern for LGBT+ individuals. You, on the other hand, prance around about the effects of mass media on society, forgetting that most mass media outlets are owned by conservative businesses before drawing your authority from one of the oldest and most outdated pieces of mass media in existence, aka the Bible. It is possibly the earliest source of mass media, being one of the first things to be put through the printing presses, which was one of the first mass media outlets out there. So yeah, I really am not impressed. Whenever I come across a demographic who has lost out in the genetic lottery, yet still attacks others in the same boat, I do feel a great deal more disheartened. I ask you to remember your nation's history and consider where America would be today if they had continued to follow this biblical passage. Ephesians chapter 6 verses 5 through 8. Slaves, obey your earthly masters with respect and fear and with sincerity of heart, just as you would obey Christ. Obey them not only to win their favour when their eye is on you, but as slaves of Christ, doing the will of God from your heart. Serve wholeheartedly as if you are serving the Lord, not people, because you know that the Lord will reward each one for whatever good they do, whether they are slave or free. Now, some people think me cruel whenever I note this aspect of American history. They say I see your skin colour and instantly go, slave. No, I see your skin colour, I hear your American accent, remember your nation's history, and watch your careless attack of the LGBT+ community based upon supposed biblical principles, and I call you out on your own standard. That is something mass media often decries, slavery. Yet surely if mass media all agree slavery is bad, then it must be attempting to control your mind and be attempting to make you deny Christ and the Bible's teachings. What are you going to do about that, eh? I certainly wait for your video attacking the portrayal of slave owners as tyrants with whips. Until then, take care.